Hello, y'all. Today is um Thursday, December 16th, 2021 at well, is it 3:29 or 3:30 p.m. So, I don't want to use the word luck, but I might be in some luck. So, um as I said, I wish that I can be more wordy, or I wish I wouldn't have to keep things secret or I kind of wish that I can, just flat out tell y'all whatever's going on rather than having to tiptoe and avoid saying this and avoid saying that and stuff like that on what's going on. So the online gang stalkers, they are still gang stalking me online. And I discovered this morning that um I'm still able to see the thumbs down on the YouTube studio. I get pretty much on average 6 thumbs down on 6 or more thumbs down on mostly every video that I do. So, and the gang stalkers love it when two targeted individuals are feuding. It's like they kick back and laugh the same way that Satan himself kicks back and laughs when two Christians are feuding at and can't get along at church. You get what I'm saying? So they like if you having an argument or a fuss or not getting along with another targeted individual, it seems like the perps will help keep the feud going and instigating and stuff like that rather than minding their own damn business. So some targets figure that basically but it's funny because some of the fake TI perps that start all the trouble, they're the main ones running around talking about that how they try to avoid and stay out of drama and how they don't like the drama in the TI community. But you're the one who's like a agent provocateur hiking stuff up, pretty much. The fake TI perps. So I'm pretty much kind of yeah, as I said, I can still see the thumbs down on the the YouTube studio. So anyway, the gang stalkers, they feel like they have control over my channel or control over me by thinking they have the narcissistic fake pseudo authority to um punish me with thumbs down, hoping that they can run me off my own channel. But yesterday they had somebody, I think his YouTube channel was Prepper Nurse One, and he was talking about basically how he was talking about how people get mad at and others too, like some Christians. It's like people get mad at us or tell us what to try to dictate or control what we should post on our own videos, like, or whatever social media. If they want to try to dictate or control our Facebook posts, or well, I'm not on Facebook right now, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, you know, they want to try to. I mean, it's like these online narcs. They think that they can tell you what to do and try to control and change what's yours. That's like when I heard somebody. I read somebody saying in a YouTube comments on somebody's community post that wait, I think it was that, yeah, that some basically said that somebody was supposed to come and do some kind of work in his house or whatever, And so he said, basically, how you gonna come in my house and make rules for me and tell me what to do in my house where you don't even pay the mortgage? I do. So, um, how would you require, me and my household to wear a mask in my house, and you're an outsider, you're a stranger, and that's narcissistic, you know. But coming out of the woodwork, all these control freaks who think they're above God Himself, um, they're self-righteous, and then but they're perverted enough to refer to God as Mother Goddess or Mother Earth. They give credit to Mother Earth and stuff like that rather than Father God who created the earth. They rather, serve Mother Earth rather than God the Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah. Sorry, I'm spraying these gnats. It's like hundreds and probably thousands of them. But it seems like, the gnats will try to play dead. The gnats will try to play dead. And so I got to make sure they're dead. But as I said before, the online perps are ridiculous enough that they will use the idea of me killing gnats. They'll use that to justify, oh, this is why Candy's a murderer. And yeah, I never killed a human being in my life, ever. And I don't even think I have that strength or power with my disability. Like if I had a gun, I couldn't even be quick enough. Somebody would have wrestled that gun out my hand so quick. I don't even know where I can get a gun, and I don't even think every day of trying to get a gun or using a weapon or nothing. I just go about my life and try to survive. But they try to look for any and every opportunity and excuse, to try to justify why Candy's a dangerous person who needs to be watched. Like yesterday, like all these freaking strangers wanting to, surveil and babysit and monitor me while I'm just minding my business trying to go get me, dinner to eat. And guess what? As I said, if I'm guilty of a crime, lock me up now. But you ain't gonna find no crimes. So you just lie and make up shit or try to set people up, innocent people. So my situation right now, I would have thought that would have to pack up and go to my storage unit today and then prepare to be back on the streets tomorrow, But in order to save, you know, in order to save myself from ending up back on the streets, I really can't save my the plans that, people wanting to help me to save those plans, you know, from being sabotaged. I can't really say too much, or I have to be tight-lipped. I have to be tight-lipped about. I have to be tight-lipped about what the possible. I'm not gonna say guaranteed, but what the possible plans are. You know, so hopefully I may not have to go back on the streets tomorrow. Yay, God answer my prayers. And supposedly there's another little small, I guess, little job opportunity tomorrow. So that I was told that basically everybody got gnats because the weather's still warm. So yeah, everybody's got gnats because the weather's still kind of on that warm side. Like I haven't had to use the heater in a while. I haven't had to use the heater in a while, but can y'all please pray for me to get a permanent place lined up at least by next week? If I can get like any assistance or anybody to help me, um, you know, to get me a permanent place by next week. So just keep me in your prayers so that I can get something permanent. And I think I have a little bit of hope for this, but maybe I'm not sure. This one little job that thing that I can do on my phone, but I only got paid 1 cent so far. So I don't know if any more opportunities would or could come up. So um I applied for a couple of other excuse me. I applied for a couple of other jobs too that a few people had recommended, and I have tried in the past to apply for security guard positions, but those positions as a security guard, um, I had gotten turned down for whatever reason. And it's pointless to even for me to even apply through Indeed because Indeed is pretty much almost always guaranteed to reject my application. So it's a waste of time to go through Indeed.com. And sometimes I try Craigslist, and Craigslist sometimes be a scam, But I wish I could have my where I can do my own. That lady smoking next door, I can smell it through. I can smell it through here. Um, cause she got not a hole, but she got some space between my bathroom and I don't know if that's I mean my bathroom and her bathroom. So if her smoking, the smell comes through here. I really hate that. I really hate that, and I feel like I'm suffocating and can't breathe. So anyway, I thought I heard some paramedics again or sirens, but so this morning, like I didn't get to fall asleep until like 2 o'clock this morning, and then I slept a lot better than the night before, and I slept until it was like 10, close to 10:30 in the morning that I woke up. So at the moment I can't say where I can't tell y'all where I'm supposed to possibly be working at, um and I don't know if nothing is guaranteed at the moment right now, but I got some hopes and some possibilities of if something would have happened. But you satanic witches and gang stalkers and stuff who y'all playing with God. If y'all want to act like you're praying for my destruction and praying for my downfall, praying for me to not get whatever. I mean, I'm just trying to get a basic life, trying to get permanent housing and stabilized. I mean, so if you got just not neighbor harassment, but the entire neighborhood or the community harassment, that's Masonic. And you hear about all these life insurance policies take secretly without your knowledge taken out on you, without your knowledge or consent. And then you know the same people making money off of you, targeting and trafficking you, human trafficking. Like I heard that me being bounced around from state to state due to the targeting, or city to city due to the targeting, I heard that's another form of human trafficking and exploitation. And so the reason, like I heard that certain jobs and certain companies are hurting for employees right now. So if I mean, and then even then they still do the doggone workplace mobbing and stuff like that. So it's like that's the only reason why I've been getting a few little job opportunities here and there lately, is because they're hurting for people now. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't have got hot. Probably wouldn't get no, like I probably would have struggled more with people wanting to hire me, like employers wanting to hire me, because I'm considered, the blacklisted, targeted individual, who nobody wants to hire. But the fact that during the times that we're in right now, the times that we're in right now is the times that we're in right now is the reason why is people are desperate. They're desperate for any damn body, in the same way that Satan is desperate for souls. Nobody cared about me or wanted or needed me now. I mean, all these years, and you wait till I'm close to 40 years old, and all of a sudden you act like as if you're after my soul. You're trying to get me to sell my soul to the devil. You want me to sell out, and I thought nobody was worried about me. I thought I don't exist, or I thought that I was an invisible person, or that nobody cares about me. But y'all, nobody cares about me. But then like everybody got their eye on me, watching me closely. But they want you to believe and try to gaslight you. They want to try to gaslight you and want you to believe that nobody thinks about you, that nobody cares about you, and that nobody's paying attention to you. Or you're worth nothing, that you're worthless and useless. And when they don't want to allow you to contribute to society in a helpful way, but at the same time they throw in your face how you don't contribute to society. But I mean, I've tried, and people like you block me from doing so. So I mean, I felt kind of giddy and inspired. The idea of, oh, I cannot take this. And I got the window open too, the bathroom window, but I turned off the air conditioner, hoping that y'all can be able to hear me talking. But this is freaking ridiculous, though. I'm glad they have certain hotels and motels or whatever that don't even allow smoking. Um, so yeah, I mean, and due to my disability, people would think that I'm just playing with people or wasting people's time if I say I want a job, but then they offer this job, and then I'd be like, well, I can't do that kind of job, and then they'll think, oh, you're just lazy and you don't want to work. But with my disability, I have certain limitations, and it's like all the jobs that's freaking available for me is freaking something dishwashing or cleaning related, and I can't even do fast food because um basically fast food, workplace mobbing, workplace bullying, you know. So back to the security guard thing. Um, with well, I haven't been as sleep deprived lately, but due to the sleep deprivation, I mean, not about now, I probably could be functional functional enough to get a security guard. Security. Why can't my words come out properly? A security guard job position. But if I was still sleep deprived, then being sleep deprived from the direct energy weapons. Oh, and speaking of that, yesterday they vibrated me so heavy, like vibrated my organs and my whole body yesterday. They vibrated me so bad last night. I wonder if that delayed me getting to sleep, but I finally was able to get me some sleep. So they vibrated me last night. Um, well, like super early in the morning, and it's like I couldn't believe this is freaking real. That they really. And I've heard about targeted individuals and their pets dying of cancer or radiation poisoning and stuff like that. So y'all, the perps want to make it like as if the supplements that we spend our money on is a useless waste of money and stuff. But they just need to bud out of our lives and leave us alone. So that's why we need stuff like the apple cider vinegar, pink Himalayan salt, bentonite clay, activated charcoal. I used the Amazing Grass Green Supplement food. Um, the Amazing Grass Green Supplement um food. As a fruit and vegetable supplement. Look at this gnat right here. Can y'all see this? Whoa, on my finger, that black thing on my finger, on my yeah. So it's easier to kill the little gnats than the big flies, though. But yeah, I couldn't even be alert or aware of my surroundings, suffering such sleep deprivation. You know, but as I said, my sleep has been a lot better. My sleep has been a lot better. Um, I guess the perps been generous in allowing me to sleep and have a job lately, but I guess they're trying to test me. I guess they're trying to test me, and they figured that Candy failed the test. So as I said, I think Mr. John was planted there to run me off the damn job and make me back homeless again. And oh, what I wanted to say about the big flies, it's easier to catch the gnats than the big flies for some reason. The big flies, they leave you hopeless and frustrated, but the little gnats can be, it's easier to kill the little gnats. But I'm sorry, I kind of sound a little all over the place. But I've been hearing so-called targeted individuals say that the gang stalkers are just under mind control, and that I do know there's a Bible scripture that says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," you know. But I'm still kind of trying to figure out all this myself also. You mean people been mind controlled to hate me all my damn life? They've been mind controlled to be repelled against me all my life. But I mean, all the wicked shit. I feel like some of it's got to be done on purpose. But for people to try to make it like, oh, the gang stalkers, damn, it's like, come on. They try to make it like as if the gang stalkers, they're trying to say that, make it like the gang stalkers don't mean any harm, and that they're just mind controlled to do what they do to us. Oh, sorry, y'all. It's like these gnats are getting worse and worse. but it's basically made to look like as if the gang stalkers don't mean us any harm and that they're just mind controlled into doing what they do to us. But I don't freaking believe that, you know. But then some people say that the gang stalkers don't know what they're in for until, and they say the same thing with Hollywood stars, that the Hollywood stars or singers or that they don't know what they signed up for until after they sold their soul. That they don't know what they signed up for. And so that then they're forced to be in it and stay in it. But these perps are walking around demonically influenced and demonically possessed and stuff. And they have, sometimes I wonder if with the remote neural monitoring and stuff, it hasn't happened in a long time or in a while, but I'm sitting here wondering if there's some outside, I don't want to say force, but outside entity trying to capture my mind. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but or if they try to, like as if Satan try to make attempts at trying to possess me. And then I've had the sleep, I mean, it hasn't happened recently, but I've had, the sleep paralysis happen a few times. And it's amazing that even in my sleep, and that's what, as a, that's what got me to start believing in the name of Jesus and becoming a Christian, because I heard the devil knows what language you speak. So, come on. So the devil knows what language you speak. So if you try to call out, you know, those sacred names, unless you speak that language, you know, I heard the Jews of the world actually call him Yeshua. So with all this Yahweh or whatever names that the fake Black Hebrew Israelites called and the fake IDMR cult, um, called, Yahweh, Yahshua, or whatever. Um, they want us to worship a man as God. And, fraudster Henry Clifford Kinley couldn't save himself or his own kids, but he supposedly was healing everybody else. You know, that man was a third degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and he was associated with the World Council of Churches and ecumenism, and all cults have their role in the new world, getting in the new world order ushered in. So it's like I've been wanting to say so much on it, what, but I can't, because the perps themselves look for opportunities to get me shut down. So that's why I, like in certain videos that I've had in the past, I basically didn't get away with not one of them videos. So all those videos got shut down, and so it's like I gotta tiptoe, and I gotta be careful with my words. I can't be free to speak what I want and stuff. I gotta, but it's I know it's our duty as Christians to warn against the mark of the beast. If some of y'all know what I'm talking about, the mark of the beast, if you get what I'm saying, so it's like I wish I could be more vocal and outspoken, about certain things. and just having more freedom and liberty. You know, I wish they would stop with the satanic censorship. And it's like I see some videos on YouTube that get talk. I mean, they can get some kind of way get by talking about it, but then they speak in code pretty much. You know, some of them got to speak in code. Oh come on, man! In order for their videos to get by, my anxiety is kind of high right now. That's why I'm saying like and and all that. I don't have limited vocabulary, but I'm my anxiety is high right now. Kind of nervous about a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just adjusting myself on this bed. But but it's like Luciferase. Come on, it's related to Lucifer. Is in the what the mark, which some people I heard is taken now. You know, and I really hate that I can't even say all that much. But it's really frightening what's going on in the world. It's really frightening what's going on in the world, you know, and y'all wonder why these days that they have disaster after disaster and after disaster and disaster, and why a whole bunch of people losing their minds, going crazy, doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. But y'all say I'm crazy and out of my mind, you know. Um, Come on, man. These gnats. But I have been advised to research and learn and try to practice um prepping and survival and gardening, sewing and making your own clothes, and canning and preserving food. But me being targeted and ran off, from everywhere is me being. They do that to a lot of us targets that we can't get to stay in the same spot. And I, my biological family members use it against me before I even realized I was targeted. They would use it against me and throw it in my face, saying, "Oh, you move around from state to state, and you got no family." And then they emphasize, "No friends. You got no family and no friends." Like as if friends are supposed to be more important than family. You got you move around from state to state with no family, no friends, and you out there by yourself. I had at least 3 family members to throw that in my face. Shucks, the family left me in Denton, Texas by myself and secretly went back to New Orleans without telling me, or moved to a different spot without telling me. When the biological mom Frances and the biological dad Arthur moved back to New Orleans from living in Denton, Texas, they secretly did that and didn't tell me. And the biological brother Mark, he secretly moved. Well, I don't want to say what city, but secretly moved to a certain city in close to Dallas, and didn't tell me and left me in Denton by myself. But then everybody was retarded, narcissistically fake outraged at me going to Los Angeles alone and by myself. But I moved to LA for hopes to get to go to translate for same reason why I went try to go to New York. So let me try to break it down to y'all. I try to both New York and Los Angeles. I have tried I ended up homeless, but I tried. Um, New York is worse and scarier than Los Angeles, but Los Angeles got their own kind of cold, evil hearts. But there's no God, no godliness, no God in New York at all. And people try to say New York is evil or New York is the city of New York City is evil. And same thing with Los Angeles, that Los Angeles is the city of fallen angels. you know, so if they laugh and say New York is evil, ha ha ha, whatever, you know. So wow, is this lady train smoking? If I've been, because it's like the smell won't go away. But she's horrible with that. The smell will not go away. It's a doggone shame. so so both New York and Los Angeles, I moved to those different places trying to pursue a Spanish to English translation career, but due to the targeting and in my homeless situation was why I couldn't succeed at pursuing those two attempts at that career. So um I ended up in after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. I ended up in Milwaukee as an emergency evacuation. I did not want to ever go to Milwaukee, but the biological brother Wyatt, I don't know if blackmail or threaten is the right word, but he pretty much manipulated and threatened me into going to Milwaukee, and that didn't work out. So, and I was not happy, and I was very depressed, and so then I moved back to New Orleans. New Orleans was still very messed up after Hurricane Katrina. Dealt with more abuse with the foster family. Um, and then I moved to New York trying to pursue a translation career, and that didn't work out because when I moved to New York to try to pursue a Spanish translation career, but that didn't work out because of the homeless situation, and they forced me against my will in the mental health system, and they think that they have this wrong mentality that mental health. I mean, homeless means you got a mental health. Homelessness mean according to them, homelessness means you have a mental problem and therefore you don't have any rights and you don't have the right to speak up for yourself. Or if you have a legal problem, you're not allowed to represent yourself. You have to get an advocate on your behalf. They'll try to declare you mentally insane, and it's like they want to trap and imprison you until you die in a mental hospital. They make up lies on you and set you up to get locked up in a mental institution. I never before all those times the foster mom Adrian Felder used to make those threats, but and even the psychiatrist Champa Chakraborty made those threats, but they never succeeded at and even other psychiatrists and stuff you know threatened to have me locked up in a mental institution and stuff like that, but they never succeeded at they never follow through with their threats, but they use those threats to try to keep me in line or think they can keep me under control. So then, so New York didn't work out, and it's like the only way I was able to get out of that I was supposed to have died in that mental hospital or been killed, left to die in that mental hospital, but the biological mom Frances and the biological gay brother Mark, they sent for me to they took advantage of me being in a so-called weak state of mind and weak and vulnerable state of mind, and sent for me to come down to Denton, Texas. They didn't really care about me, but they were hoping that if I was considered mentally fragile, they can get more money out of me. But the biological mom Frances didn't really get that much much or really any money out of me, but the biological gay brother Mark, he was the one who got all the damn money out of me. Stole all that money from me, and then also set me up. Took part of the blame of me being set up to be you know arrested and gone to jail. And then he turned around and blamed me. But then he went to jail for all those traffic tickets and stuff like that. Had a warrant out for his arrest for traffic tickets and stuff. So then I lived in so yeah, me living in Denton, Texas was supposed to rescue me from ended up. Oh, and you know what? Those people outside at the Waffle House, they're standing outside. That might be what I'm smelling too. They're near. I got my doggone window open because of the stuff I'm spraying to kill the gnats. I'm trying to air the room out, and so they want to take advantage of smoking. Because they know I hate it. So anyway, and they trying to distract me. So man, move. I'm sitting here talking to the yelling at the gnats. I ain't a crazy person, but I'm yelling at the gnats. Um, so hold on, because I can hear their conversation. Y'all probably can't pick up on it or hear it, but I can hear them talking. They're having a conversation on their break, and it's kind of like distracting me. So then basically they traumatized, tortured, and terrorized me at the mental hospital. That's another video in itself. And at the mental hospital in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, to be precise, the Kings County Mental Hospital. I had fake Dr. Boris Fatakov as the mental hospital psychiatrist, and he was Russian, a Russian psychiatrist. And so it's like I heard that the biological mom kept being flip floppy and switching her mind about whether or not she wanted me to come to Denton, Texas. But, you know, just as I got comfortable and got settled, like I thought I could be comfortable and settled with roommates in New York. They wouldn't let me live by myself, but I had some kind of assisted supportive housing and an SRO and in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, and um so though I had those two roommates and one of them kept pulling knives on me. She kept on pulling knives on me, and they didn't believe me when I kept trying to tell them that she kept pulling knives on me. And so they wouldn't allow me to have, advocate for, like, I wasn't allowed to have a voice to speak up for myself. They would not allow me to, you know. And so I heard there's a such thing as mental health and mental hygiene, which has something to do with Hitler and Nazism and eugenics program. So I didn't find that out until later on. About I'm like mental hygiene. I heard of physical, like personal health hygiene, but I never heard of mental hygiene. But I heard that got something to do with eugenics and mental health. And they straight up murder people in the mental hospital at Kings County in Brooklyn, New York. So I was. They were trying to like the roommate Crystal Marshall. She was trying to murder me, trying to have me killed off in that mental hospital in New York. I'm sorry, not at the mental hospital. she tried to kill me at that single room um apartment I guess it was a 3 bedroom apartment, and then her doing that to me and nobody believed me. So then I started to be suicidal at the time. And so then after that, you know, I don't know how they found me. The door was locked, and I don't remember what medications I overdosed on, but I overdosed on whatever psych meds I had. And because nobody wanted to believe me about the roommate that kept pulling knives on me. And then I ended up in a mental hospital, and they were trying to kill me in a mental hospital in New York. And so then after that, you know, the biological brother Mark and the biological mom Frances were hoping to get money out of me, and that's the only reason why they were eager to get me to come down there to Denton, Texas. So I went to Denton, Texas, and was depressed there because um it was scary and spooky in Denton, Texas, and plus it was super racist over there. And I stayed there for 4 years, and then hoping I can get a career in translation. Los Angeles, false hopes, and then homelessness. But then I ended up on Section 8. But I experienced and learned a lot through my New World Order and Illuminati research and the Christian life and certain things that I've experienced in Los Angeles. It may be heavily polluted with chemtrails, but they have a whole bunch of natural health people out there. I mean, I learned about dumpster diving and freeganism, and you know, and as I said, during hard times, when there's no food, no water, you might have to dumpster dive. I don't advise committing a crime like looting or nothing. But there are people nowadays who practice the art of dumpster diving, in order to survive. And some homeless people got no choice but to dumpster dive to survive. And so I learned about dumpster diving. I learned about a little bit about gardening. I had a plot at Emerson Avenue Community Garden, but I didn't realize they all treated me a certain way because I didn't realize they were a bunch of rich, snobby gang stalkers. And so I got frustrated and nobody wanted to help me. So I quit at the garden. I thought that me trying to take up gardening class would be therapy for the loss of the biological mom Frances and the biological dad Arthur. Now I thought it would be some therapy. Um, and so I would try to take gardening classes or through the library, take up some canning and preserving classes or food preservation classes. And so, but then at the same time, I never had the money to to be able to um buy any pots for food preservation. And when I was living on Section 8 in Los Angeles, I never really had the money. I had looked for jobs, couldn't find any. Goodwill, where David Jane was working at, I don't know if he still works there. Goodwill wouldn't hire me and stuff like that. Voc Rehab pretty much gave me a problem. And so I couldn't get with Voc Rehab. They didn't want to help me. So Miss Lisa Ruby with that fake deliverance ministry stuff was how I ended up in Greenville, South Carolina. And she dared and threatened me to not go back to New Orleans, so I did it as a way to defy her pretty much. I guess that's the right word. And so I think the gang stalking coworkers at Waffle House next door I think they just want to distract me or they're looking for an excuse to listen in on my phone. I mean, not phone conversation, my YouTube video. So, I mean, as I said, they got an average job. If they get paid how I do, how I would, how can they have like a kind of new like van and a permanent place to live, but you just work at Waffle House? And I'm pretty sure you don't get more than 10 hours a day, working at Waffle House. But anyway, what else was I gonna say? So Miss Lisa Ruby in that situation, it was the first time I ended up on the streets for 9 days in an unfamiliar area. She was in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and what she did to me, I had to get the fuck out of there. You're supposed to be a Christian, and you sitting there having my life in danger. So I think that and that's what some people say, that Miss Lisa Ruby was grooming and preparing me for her own blood sacrifice, while taking the attention off of herself and putting it on my family, in which other people said too, that my family wanted me for a sacrifice, but I guess she must have wanted me for her own sacrifice as well. She would call everybody a witch, but then I felt like, well, wow, you're the same witch that you want to call everybody else. And so when I told her that, her eyes rolled back and she nearly fainted. No way in hell can you try to tell me that her and her husband were the only two people in the world, on this earth, in the world, that God gave the authority to do deliverance and cast out demons. I mean, she was a false teacher. I mean, if you're using the Bible to abuse me, and you're gang stalking and perping the shit out of me too, and acting like she was trying to, something like, it's like she was trying to be my handler. She was trying to be my handler, and I fought like from day one. I kept fighting and resisting. So then, I was trapped in Greenville, South Carolina, on that Section 8, and I was forced to abandon my place. Like, Miss Lisa Ruby took advantage of the idea of them vibrating my body in Los Angeles, and then I was in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and was still feeling the vibrating. And so Miss Lisa Ruby was like, "Well, you shouldn't be feeling it here." Well, shucks, it was daytime and I was feeling it. So it's like, they doctor up their websites to sound like they're such great and innocent, God-fearing Christians, and then they turn out to be an exploitative, narcissistic wolf in sheep's clothing and have you shocked. I was still a somewhat new Christian, but I'm sitting here thinking that, okay, this lady knows the truth, or she's the truther, and she got all her facts right on her website and everything. But then she'll make it like as if she was persecuted for speaking the truth also, but she was trying to find out, truth mixed with lies. And so, excuse me. And so, Miss Tracy Broadhurst and Miss Lisa Ruby were trying to battle for control over me. And now Miss Tracy didn't want me to live near her, but she wanted me to live between North Carolina and Kentucky, and that way she supposedly would drive down every so often to come and visit me. It's like, why would you? I mean, she also seemed kind of like nonsensical and weird. But they both claim to be targeted individuals and targeted by the FBI and stuff like that. So Miss Lisa Ruby said that her husband was a former Satanist, a former high-level Satanist. But yet, so now I no longer believe people when they want to make it like as if they're Satanists turned Christian. They just use that to exploit people and bait people in. So they got a lot of practicing Satanists who put on a mask like they're Christian to destroy souls and hurt people. And I was devastated and depressed and had another near suicide attempt in October 2016. It was like almost 2 months before my cousin Blake got shot and killed. So I can't believe they're on their break for this long. It's been longer than 30 minutes. They've been standing outside talking. They've been standing outside talking for as long as I've been doing this video. So I don't even know if y'all can hear them. So if I bet you if my window was closed, or if and I bet you one of them looked like the man, he's the manager himself. If my window was closed, or if I stopped doing a video, that's when they're gonna go back inside. Yeah. So come on, man. Here's another gnat. If this was 91% rubbing alcohol, the gnat. If this was 91% alcohol, the gnat would be dead in an instant. But I gotta spray this like 8 times before it can die. So I mean, but it helped me feel better when I told somebody about my experiences with Lisa Ruby, and she told me that she behooved me to talk about. I mean, behooved me to research narcissistic abuse, and so she quit being a Christian because of being exploited by Lisa Ruby. Shut her. She had great information. She shut her blog down. She shut her blog down because of Lisa Ruby. Miss Lisa Ruby was trying to. I mean, basically, you know the Bible scripture. I think it's in Matthew chapter 23, or maybe Mark chapter 15, and talks about the woe unto you scribes and Pharisees, and make one proselyte, but then turn it into uh, twofold more of the devil. I don't want to get the scriptures mixed up. Let me get my Bible. I ain't no preacher, but um, let me see. Matthew. Wow. Let me see. Hold on. Bear with me. Yeah. Okay. Matthew 23 and 15. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. It's like basically you kind of like using the Bible and using God's word to turn people away from to turn people away rather than being wise and winning souls to Jesus Christ. Wow. So yeah, Matthew 23 and 28 sums up narcissistic abuse perfectly. Um, Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. So It's Proverbs. Um, Proverbs. Yeah, I think it's Proverbs. Yeah, Proverbs 11:30. The fruit of the righteousness. I'm sorry. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that when it sows is wise. But ye narcissistic religious narcs, y'all make a child. Y'all make one proselyte and turn them twofold more of a child of hell than yourselves. So, I mean, I was devastated, and I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed to God to connect me with Miss Tracy, thinking that she was a righteous person, but she was an exploitative, fake, hypocritical, narcissistic, fake ti perp, narcissistic, fake Christian, and think she's. I mean, a narcissist. When I say somebody's a narcissistic abuser who's highly narcissistic, I'm talking about like a narcissistic abuser who has elitist mentality and think they're like they got their nose turned up in the air, like as if they think that they're above everything and everybody. You know, they call arrogant, conceited, and stuck up, or they're arrogant, conceited, and stuck up is basically what sums up their character. Oh, looks like they went back inside. So forgive me for any outside noise that you hear that might bother you during this video. If any noise harassment or noise campaign I wasn't made aware of because my earbuds being in, you know. So then I moved back to New Orleans, dealing with more, um, because it was 2015 and 2016. I was living in Los Angeles and had to deal with neighbors doing stuff to me, and then my body vibrating, and I didn't realize that they were trying to kill me. They say that this electronic torture with the gang stalking is basically a technological and electronic holocaust. We targeted individuals are considered victims of eugenics. Eugenics, eugenics. Hitler Nazi eugenics. And here targeted individuals can't even get along with each other. You know, yeah, I'm back to hearing noise again. So, I'm sorry for that. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I could. But so also, let me see what else. So I dealt with the same thing when I had my place in Greenville, South Carolina, dealing with noise and all kinds of, I mean, dealing with noise harassment and neighbor harassment and neighbors who would threaten me if I confronted them about the noise and trying to get peace. 2 o'clock in the morning is not an unreasonable time to tell somebody that their noise bothers me, you know. And so then in Jefferson, Louisiana, part of New Orleans, where I was able to finally get me a place on Section 8, and then I threatened to, and I was going to too, and I thought that having a cab driving job would save me. I thought having a cab driving job would save me from um from being on the streets. and I thought I could just bounce around from hotel and motel, and it's like they kept rubbing it in my face about how cab drivers can make good money and stuff like that. But they damn sure sabotaged that within the first day or two. You know, the first day they got me on the road to start driving. And then they had this narcissistic black female perp who wasn't even from New Orleans. Her name was Delphine or some shit like that. And she was trying to she was working with Brittany with the Star Cabs in Metairie. And Brittany and her boyfriend Nick were perps too. And I didn't even realize back then. They gave me a car that basically broke down on me the first day, and then Brittany was ignoring the shit out of me when I was trying to call her, and then her response was, "Oh well, she tried to say something about avoiding the child protective services, trying to come get her kids, and saying that my phone number looks similar to her. I mean, similar to theirs." But nah, bitch, you know what the fuck you were doing. Because I heard that her and her dad and all them, they were all on some shady shit. And Brittany got laughed at because they said Brittany was a damn stripper or something like a prostitute or a stripper or something like that. And that her stripper name was Star. And that's why she named it Star Cabs. But maybe it wasn't meant for me to drive for Star Cabs. You know. So Glenn's cab pretty much did the same thing. That narcissistic cab driver, Will Lerman, and that was in fake Gretna. And Will was a narcissistic abuser, talking about he had to act the way he acts, trying to say that he used to be a nice person, but then had a heart attack at 22 of being hypersensitive to people picking on him. So that's the justification why you're a hardcore narcissistic abuser now. So, you know, right? I mean, I moved back to Gretna and was at that Section 8 place for like a month. I was living there for a month. And the landladies, it was two sisters. They were rich enough to afford BMWs, yet they were brand new BMWs and they were and Mercedes, and they were fucking money hungry and trying to force me to pay so much money. They tried to force me to pay near full price, more than close to full price while I was on Section 8. Excuse me. And the Section 8 people, they gave me all kinds of problems and refused to help me. But I heard about how corrupt Jefferson Parish Section 8. I heard that they were corrupt. You know, so for some reason I heard Orleans. I would just wanted to go back home, my hometown. So I was feeling homesick and felt like you know I wanted to go back to my hometown. You know, move down. So, but I ended up, because of the intense harassment, the landlord and Section 8 abuse is why I got frustrated. And plus, you know, I couldn't take the vibrating and the noise harassment, the neighborhood harassment and mobbing, them threatening my life and stuff. And I thought that, okay, if I get a cab driving job, then I can possibly, you know, I don't have, because I said I don't want to sign any more apartment leases anymore. That's what I felt like. If they try to trap me inside the lease and would not let me out of my lease, and then they throw it in my face, I'm like, you signed a legally binding document, and they kept throwing that in my face. But motherfucker, y'all kept lying and saying that y'all were going to let me out of my lease. But what happened to the idea of landlords in the lease? It says promising the tenant to a peaceful and quiet enjoyment. I wasn't granted that right. I wasn't allowed to sue any damn body. People figure I'm retarded and don't know my rights. Well, I mean, I guess I know some of my rights, but I don't. I have like I'm pretty much clueless. Excuse me, on the talk about how to go about getting a lawyer and suing them. And I don't know much of anything about that, and I don't know that much about home ownership and mortgage. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about, you know. So because I never owned a home, never got to, never even came close to owning a home. And so then I ended up homeless on the streets, and so I don't want to take up all y'all time talking about my New Orleans based shelter experiences, but New Orleans mission is a cult, and you gotta allow yourself to be molested by the staff before you can get a meal to eat, and then they abuse you and they busting on you while you're taking a shower. They throw up the demonic hand signs while saying, "Oh, how I love Jesus," trying to sing, "Oh, how I love Jesus," while throwing up the devil horns hand signs and shit like that, or the 666 hand signs and saying, "Oh, how I love Jesus," and it's like mocking, you know. And then it was a black, cold-hearted male who was the director of the New Orleans mission, and he moved, and he had his face twisted up like, and they're supposed to be these people are supposed to be Christian though. Y'all supposed to love the Lord and be Christian, but he's supposed to be the director of the New Orleans mission. A black man treating me like this, and so I wasn't allowed to go to try to stay safe at night, trying to go to Harris Casino to trying to just trying to stay safe and stay out of the elements, you know. And I didn't want to go under the bridge by the other homeless, and they had a whole bunch of rats, and I'm sitting here feeling like these people don't deserve to fucking live like this. You know, they really don't deserve to be on the streets under the bridge near Loyola and Tulane, and farther down by where the New Orleans Greyhound station is off of Loyola, and I forgot the name of that street. Can't think of the name of that street that like the interstate, like right by the Greyhound station. I can't think of the name of that street at the moment. But down that street they have like homeless people, and also all down Claiborne Avenue, mainly South Claiborne Avenue, like in New Orleans. It's just freaking heartbreaking. But you know, I stayed away. Not that it has nothing to do with me thinking I'm too good, you know. I stayed away to stay out of trouble, and stayed off to myself to stay out of trouble. So I try to stay out of trouble, stay off to myself, and hold up. These things, you know. So I stayed off. I stayed off to myself, and then you know, dealing with. I had that bully Miss Francois at the fake Salvation Army shelter. Basically, you pay to live in prison there, and they got bed bugs. The health department should shut that place down. They had bed bugs that they didn't care to take care of the bed bug problem, and that's why I left. And then New Orleans mission also was bed bug infested. They don't, and they take your clothes and they treat you like you're in prison. And homeless people on the streets in New Orleans will tell you that basically, and even in New York, they used to tell me homeless shelters is not for everybody. That's their homeless shelters is not for everybody. And so you can Google search or look up, you know, why people don't want to go to shelters. Homeless shelters are exploitative prison scam cults. They you know, mm-mm. They're exploitative prison scam cults, and they also participate in human trafficking. And so, I smell cigarettes again. That might be her next door. But anyway, so I was, you know, sleeping on UNO's campus, the college that I graduated from, because I tried what I could to get a job. I stayed at that Marquette hostel in New Orleans, and people frowned upon locals staying there. But locals were allowed to stay there for $100 a week, and I experienced the gang stalking even over there for about a month or two. I don't remember, but whenever I had my social security check to come in, I was able to get to go to stay at the Marquette hostel. But they had a narcissistic control freak, fake T.I. perp who pretended to be against the Illuminati. Her name was Rhonda, and she thought she ran the place, and she gave me a problem. And then they had that narcissistic perp, Lorraine. Every time, because of Miss Lorraine, every time I see Keisha Lorraine, it make me mad. So, well, not no more. I'm over it now. But um, that's the one who thought she had the authority to try to defend the people at the Harris Casino, and but then she tried to say that you cannot, and she tried to tell me I should go to Anytime Fitness, and then she said, you cannot go to Anytime Fitness just to use the bathroom. You cannot. Well, why are you pushing me to get a membership there? I don't even want a gym membership because I know about how gym memberships trap people. They got a gym right behind us. But, I'd rather just walk out in nature or walk in for fresh air for free without paying for and being enslaved to a gym membership. So that lady was just a roommate and thought she had the authority to tell me where I can freaking use where I can freaking use the bathroom at. You know, so it was easier for me to survive homeless on the streets here in Pensacola than it was when I was in New Orleans. I didn't know where to go hide in New Orleans. I didn't know where to go hide. And my family members, it's not like I could sleep in my aunt Yvonne's backyard. She wouldn't allow that. I couldn't sleep out in her backyard. Yvonne wouldn't want me on her property at all, and I'm her fucking niece. I'm your niece. So, but Ramona would do stuff like that's my own sister, and my own sister Ramona would do stuff like freaking noise harassment with a deceitful on purpose with a deceitful looking smile on her face. Blasting loud TV and blasting loud music and exercising her fake right to be ignorant. I can't get the truth to people like Ramona. And then Ramona take all your money and then go gamble it up and then leave you with nothing. So it was hard to get any, the temp service jobs in New Orleans. That's another video topic. I've talked about that on previous channels before that are now gone. Talking about my experiences with Shift Gig and a few other temp services that were very weird towards me, and they secretly canceled and blacklisted me without my knowledge and wasn't giving me more work assignments, which was keeping me homeless. like it was harder for me to get a job in New Orleans than here. But in 2019, right when I started to get a little comfortable and I started getting more hours and I was working at the YMCA, just before they set me up and lied on me and wrongfully fired me, I had was just about to get comfortable enough and I was looking around for places to live. And they had a place like 500. They used in 2019. They had places like at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. They still had places for $500 a month. That's not in the hood that I could have gone to, but I needed that 3.5 times the rent. But I didn't have. I mean, I was so frustrated in 2018. I was frustrated that I deliberately let my Section 8 go because of being frustrated with the neighbor harassment and the landlords and neighbor harassment, the Section 8 people, me I mean them threatening my life, and the lady at the Section 8 office, Debbie Thompson in Jefferson Parish in Gretna, Louisiana, straight up told me that I deserved to get hurt for confronting neighbors at 2 o'clock in the morning for having their parties and alcohol and drugs, just drug trafficking, and being awakened and like hearing domestic violence and all that like right next door. And then neighbors, one time I think I remember they took the gang stalking neighbors. They took the air conditioner out of my window because I had like an air conditioner that was built in the window. I called the police. The police said they couldn't do nothing about it. I had to call the police several times, and even when I was in Los Angeles with the noise and everything, they would not do shit. They would not do anything at all. Kept lying and saying they can't do anything. So, but if somebody try to say Candy's mentally unstable at the moment, oh, they'll come flying. When I make complaints about somebody doing me whatever harm, the police take hours to come and then say, sorry, ma'am, there's nothing we can do. But somebody make a complaint on me, about 20 police cars, come like as if they just right around the corner. Like they come flying real fast. Like, and I wonder how the hell did they come here like within less than 30 seconds? Like as if the police was just right around the damn corner or something. But when it comes to me, they take hours. And the same thing with the paramedics. If somebody want to get me locked, make up a lie on me and get me locked up in a mental institution, they be there in 15 seconds. Flying. But if it's a medical emergency, they take hours. And then I get abusive gang stalking ambulance who rough handle and jerk and sling me onto the stretcher and rough handle and restrain me. And then sling and throw me into the wheelchair and shit like that. When I'm having whatever XYZ medical emergency going on. So now I have a better understanding of what all this is about. So, but if I would have known that what my experiences was part of the targeting and part of the gang stalking and had some support, I probably could have still been living in Los Angeles. But I'm glad I'm not living in Los Angeles no more, even though I miss it. I'm glad I'm not living in Los Angeles. Well, no, I don't really miss the beaches in Los Angeles no more because they just got a beach around the corner, right here. So I ain't gotta miss the beaches. But I miss. What did I miss? I miss the Grand Central Market, and I miss Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, and I miss Yogurtland. And I miss taking the Metrolink train for free and getting to go to San Clemente and Oceanside and have like a day trip and clear my mind and stuff. I miss those days. Um, Santa Monica, whack. I miss Venice Beach, but I hate it when I would be at Venice Beach and everybody else crowd around that area. And while we were at Venice Beach, everybody crowd around that area. And I'm the only one who the lifeguard yells at. Black or white. I'm the only one who they yell at. And it's like, why are you yelling at me? The other people there were doing the same thing. And then they'd be like, no, but you were submerged all the way into the water. No. Other people were too. So why didn't you yell at them? So I would get like rude and abusive beach lifeguards that would, sour my day. And one time I nearly drowned in a rip current. And in 2015, my family members didn't care. When I tell them about nearly dying or nearly losing my life, my family straight up don't care. Like none of my family members cared when I brought them the news and told them I was diagnosed with lupus back in 2011. So, I haven't had lupus symptoms in years. Maybe I was able to detox from, the swine flu vaccine, I think, is what caused me those symptoms. But, they came in like later on. But I was able to detox, and now I no longer have lupus symptoms. I was able to, detox through detoxing. I think was how I was able to get rid of those symptoms, So, there's so much more stuff I want to get to say. But anyway, I ended up here because when they kicked me off the campus at UNO, and I felt University of New Orleans, the college that I graduated from, and I felt betrayed. And it's like I was trying to do what I could to fight to get me a place and trying to get job opportunities. Even in 2017, I was financially struggling. And they look down on you for asking for 75 cents on the street, like walking or whatever, in public. And you ask for 75 cents for disabled bus fare. And, people shun you for asking for 75 cents for bus fare to get to the hospital because you're having heart pains or chest pains because I did not get sleep for 18 days straight, and the ambulance didn't want to come. And I didn't want to pay for be charged for an ambulance ride when the hospital was just down the street. Nobody wanted to help me, and those bastards try to say, oh, you had the best EKG that we've seen all day. And they would say that every time I got to go to Ochsner Hospital at Jefferson. Then I heard that they were corrupt too. Ochsner Hospital kills people. They leave people to die. On Jefferson Highway in Jefferson, Louisiana, part of New Orleans, Ochsner Hospital. And the health clinic across the street, they're no better. They try to force me to die on Protonix. They got mad at me because I said, and trying to say I have a mental health disorder because I said I didn't want to take the Protonix to heal my acid reflux. I was suffering it bad, and I didn't realize that sometimes with the directed energy weapons, the DEW weapons supposedly can cause you to have, the directed energy weapons can cause you to have acid reflux and stuff like that too. I heard people say that, and I was wondering why my eyes would be super red sometimes. And I heard that red eyes, like bloodshot red eyes, when you have done no drugs or anything, I heard that that's directed energy weapon torture as well. You know, so they used to have a truth website speaking against the New World Order and speaking against the, talking about the targeted individuals and speaking against gang stalking. The stopcovertwar.org, that website is no more. But I have the Wayback Machine copy of the website in my Truth DVD for Christians Part 4. So and certain other websites that talk about, that speak about the directed energy weapons and gang stalking and MK Ultra and mind control. They all go hand in hand. And so, oh, it seems like as it's getting close to night, I may not see as many gnats, but they still got them around. That's like the flies disappear at night, but you see them all around during the day. Mosquitoes wait till nighttime to come out. They're the opposite. So so once I got my income tax money, I used that money to get a trip to Pensacola. And yeah, I moved to Pensacola because of the beaches, you motherfuckers. You satanic motherfuckers. Yes, I moved to Pensacola because of the beaches. Nobody had a problem with me living in Los Angeles because of the beaches. I love the beach. Why don't I have a right to love the beach? You bitches love murdering people. So it's a crime for me to love the beach, but you don't. But it's okay for y'all to enjoy torturing people. Tell me about that. Y'all deserve the death penalty. Y'all deserve to be on death row. Y'all are committing crimes against humanity. I mean, you're gonna get mad at me for eating a Chilean sea bass dinner. You're gonna get mad at me for having some cheesecake. You're gonna get mad at me for going to the beach. You're gonna get mad at me for going to the beach, but you can gang stalk me in a brand new Volvo XC90, a red Volvo XC90 with funny headlights. But of course, that's not considered illegal. But it's illegal for me to get a boyfriend, a husband, try to get a family, because y'all think I don't have the mentality to raise a child. Who are you to have that authority to make that decision for me? Because y'all feel threatened by the idea that I wouldn't raise my child to be submissive and compliant with the New World Order agendas. Y'all feel like I'm a threat. So, and Pensacola is close to home, New Orleans, in case I needed to go back to at least, but I haven't been able to go back and visit or nothing. When was the last time I went to New Orleans? September 2020. And now because of the COVID mandates and stuff, I can't go back. I mean, I cannot go back to New Orleans. I miss it. And yes, I miss the fucking food, damn it. It's my hometown. A lot of people love the food. It's okay for the rich tourists to love the food, but why am I not allowed to love the food in a place where I was born and raised? You can't take the New Orleans out of me. You can't take that away from me. But yeah, then y'all want to run me. People who are not from New Orleans make me feel unwelcome in my hometown where I was born and raised. Even people from different countries. Your ass wasn't even, you're not even in this country illegally, and you treat me feel like you came here illegally, immigrated here, and then treat me like I'm unwelcome in my own hometown where I was born and raised. The nerve. So But mainland Pensacola is not expensive like the area that I'm at now. You know, so as I said, in 2019, mainland Pensacola was having like trailers for rent, like $375 and $400 and $500 trailers and apartments for rent. But they want that 3.5 times the rent minimum. 3.5 times the rent. I had to try to go get that cottage to rent. It was $475 a month. The cottage was close to the Washburn Center. I could have walked to the Washburn Center. The gang stalkers sabotaged that. And the man was still advertising that cottage for rent. He was gonna rent it to me, but the gang stalkers sabotaged and scared him off. There was another place off a 9 Mile Road in North Pensacola that was somewhat near UWF campus. I was supposed to get a place there too. And Catholic Charities was going to help me. The gang stalker sabotaged that too. The man was going to help me, but the gang stalkers did sabotage that. And then I had a gang stalking perp, a narcissistic, abusive, rude bitch for a gang stalking perp named Tiara Piffins, who worked for the Catholic Charities. She wasn't about trying to help me. All they cared about was 1 week for the a hotel room at Days Inn downtown, in which they participated in heavy fucking gang stalking. Heavy gang stalking at the Days Inn downtown. And they tried to set me up at the Days Inn downtown back in I don't remember if it was July or August, a few months ago. Days Inn at dirty downtown Days Inn. You know, they so where we're not required to wear a mask anymore in Pensacola, but they put up that sign just for me, the Target, the next day, because the first day nobody told me about a mask. There was no sign up there, I don't think. And they tried to lie and say that it was a whole gang stalking charade, and just to get me riled up and angry, to set me up to be banned and never get to go back. And then later on, the real manager apologized and said that wasn't supposed to happen, and he was supposed to get back with me. I don't even know if I'm banned from there or not. So I had some heavy gang stalking footage, heavy gang stalking activity, weirdness going on over there. And so when I first got to Pensacola, let's see what happened. That first night I stayed at that fake ass Heavenly Blessings. Everybody was nice and loved by me. They're another cult. Then it's like they acted like the fake LA people when I say fake LA people, I'm talking about Los Angeles. So it's like everybody woke up a different person the next morning and bullied me out of there. And it wasn't comfortable over there at the so then I was forced to be on the streets. And I do not even remember which weird way I found myself downtown, staying at the park downtown and living on the streets, and nobody messed with me. The police didn't mess with me. I meant to say the police didn't mess with me, but I had other homeless and I had some drunk people and homeless people like harassing me and stuff, but the police left me alone. And so I was able to sleep at that park. And then they had a homeless man told me to find some temporary shelter at the moment, to protect myself from the rain. I'm not a mother, but it happened on Mother's Day. And that fake Everman place downtown, I hope I got it. The fake Everman place downtown. Um, I used to, eat there almost every day before I mean, I didn't really know my way around. And I used to go to the dirty downtown library a lot and getting harassed by the security guard and harassed by other homeless. So then, after that situation with me being wrongfully banned, just because of being homeless and trying to stay out of the rain at Everman Place, um, and I'm banned for life at both locations, even the one on 9 Mile Road. I can't go to either one for the rest of my life. Now, at first they were saying I'm only banned for 1 year. You can't do that. I mean, that's fucked up to do that to a person. So they only want rich snobs to shop at Everman. That place is overpriced anyway. More expensive than Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. So that's why I got to go to other certain, natural health food stores, you know, which they don't really have that many here. They have the Vitamin Shop and they have GNC and they have, a few little local private um health food stores and stuff. So that the bad police officer was the one who told me people have a right to work for Satan if they want to, and everybody defends and agrees with what he says. And then the the good cop was the one who told me that basically, well, he was the one who gave me the idea of the he was the one who gave me the idea to the good cop was the one who gave me the idea to go and stay at the abandoned bank. And so even I was not asking for help. I was pretty much independent. Even when I was in New Orleans, I didn't ask for it. I didn't even really. Every now and then, I like mainly when they cut off my Social Security benefits because they thought I was dead in New Orleans. That was the main time I was panhandling and begging and asking for money and asking for help. But other than that, you know, I didn't really ask for too much. But let me see what else. So what else? So in 2019, I had a couple of jobs. Working for ABM and also working through the YMCA, and I also had a couple of other temp service jobs. And so, I mean, when I first got here, I was able to get me a dishwashing job, but that was workplace mobbing at the Grand Hotel, which is the Grand Hotel is shut down downtown. And that was a temp service. And then I was working through the YMCA at the pools, and then they put me on at the YMCA. Well, less hours. I had more hours at the pool. And so they try to make it like at the YMCA you can't work no more than 30 hours. You have to work 29 hours or less because they feel like they don't want to pay it health insurance. I said, I don't care about health insurance. I just want to and need to work. Let me work full time. They even were telling me back then that I was doing such a great job cleaning the bathrooms and everything. I'm sick and tired of bathroom cleaning and dishwashing and whatever housekeeping jobs. I need and want something different. So, um, so I got by independent. Like it's basically, it wasn't until like maybe the 20, and even, but see, when I was living in Los Angeles and living in Denton, Texas, and living in New Orleans and stuff, I basically would have my Social Security check, pay my rent, and pay all my bills on the third of the month. Get everything paid on or about the third of the month. when I get my check, first thing go to bills. And then I would mostly stay home and have nothing, and I would have my food stamps, and I would have much or nothing to spend my money on, or go to food banks and stuff. But then go broke by the 25th of the month and use that the last between $3 and $5 on laundry, and then just stretch everything out until the third of, and just don't go anywhere until like the third of the month. But in Los Angeles, I kind of had it made, even though I was living on Section 8. But I didn't have food stamps because they don't give you food stamps even if you have $1 in SSI. So they say you get SSI, you don't get no food stamps. But they raised the SSI money so that they won't have to give you food stamps. And so I had free bus pass, a disabled bus pass for free, the access card. So I was able to take the train and take the bus and the Metrolink for free. And I would spend a lot of my time at the USC campus, bringing my laptop and researching Illuminati, New World Order, the Christian lifestyle, natural health, survival, and prepping, and all that. And they would freeze my laptop on purpose when I'm trying to research the truth or trying to figure out or learn the truth. But if I'm looking up some useless information like celebrities or some shit like that, then they let me run my computer. So, but I would go to USC campus and use their internet, to research and save files on my laptop and stuff. And so, my Truth DVD for Christians that I put in the Truth DVD for Christians that I put in every video, the links in the description box of every video, the Truth DVD for Christians. It's a sample of the type of stuff that I've been researching. And if you see that stuff, I get condemned for that. But I've had people tell me that, my Truth DVD for Christians is just an excuse to be negative, or it's just nothing but negative information. No, you just want to remain blind to the truth. So sharing the truth is not being negative. But, you just want to stay comfortable with being blinded and brainwashed. And I'm not trying to go condemn nobody. I want to help liberate people from the shackles of being imprisoned with lies and deception. I'm not the only one that can do it. There's a lot of people doing it. But I mean, it's like if you get popular behind the truth, that's how we know you're a disinfo agent. But you're getting popular behind the truth. And then you spread, and you be secretly part of the agenda. But if you hate it for the truth, that's how people know you're a real one. So, so that police officer gave me the information for the to go stay at that abandoned bank, and I stayed there for a long time. I didn't really stay in a hotel, or like I stayed at the Super 6 was the first motel I stayed in. And at the Super 6, I think it was the month of May or June was the first time I stayed there. May or June 2019. And that was about the only time I stayed, maybe once or twice over there. And they were remodeling, and I was all excited because they gave me a newly remodeled room and stuff like that. And they didn't treat me bad, really. But then when I had to deal with that married lady, that's when all hell broke loose. But they had a white lady who was rude to me when I was trying to ask her how much does a weekly rate cost. And so Miss Mary was the Black Masonic sellout. I mean, I got video footage of her calling me crazy, wearing purping me with the red and calling me crazy to my face when they wrongfully banned me from there in July 2020. So I didn't have to ask nobody for nothing really. But they had a man, he was a Christian man, and he was driving for the disabled bus service. I forgot what they call it here. It was similar to Access in Los Angeles, but I forgot what the paratransit or whatever. And they were gang stalking me on the paratransit. I had to stop riding that too. So so this man, he was a Christian, or supposedly a Christian, and he had a, it was for the month of November 2019, and he paid for me to stay a week at the motel, and that costed like 300, almost $400. It cost more than to stay here. And then because he was concerned about it being super cold. And then I remember many nights on the streets, and I remember at nighttime I would go downtown to this place. I'm not gonna say one of the restaurants downtown. I'm not gonna say what one it was. And then it was the either that one or Waffle House or the fake Shitterburger, Whataburger. I would stay either one of those places, but it would be so cold that I couldn't sleep. So I would end up being sleep deprived, or I would be anxious and restless and pacing back and forth because it's so cold. And it would be so cold. And then they had the cold weather shelter pop up, and when the temperature dropped below 40 degrees, I was able to stay at the cold weather shelter. But then January, it was right after Martin Luther King holiday, that Tuesday after the day after Martin Luther King holiday, that they set me up on the coldest day of the year, and set me up, well, actually coldest day of that winter, to set me up to be kicked out. And y'all supposed to be Christians at Inslee First Baptist Church. They participate in gang stalk, narcissistic bullies who participate in organized gang stalking. So they all participate in the gang stalking. They're supposed to love the Lord. And so I was wrongfully banned from there, just simply for asking. Wait a minute. I don't remember how the argument even started. Oh, now I remember. They would cause me to force urination and force diarrhea. And I was trying to ask about getting my clothes washed, and they had some other stuff that went on too. I don't remember everything, but that lady, Miss Sally, that 72-year-old narcissistic abuser who's looked dead in the face, and she looked like an albino version of how Michael Jackson looked in the Thriller video. And she was extremely short and old, and she was a narcissistic perp, and always perping with the red, And when she would wear red, that's when she'd be the meanest. And she acting like she delusionally believes she's class clown funny, and she could treat me with abuse and preach the Lord at the same time. So how much of a lover of God are you to put me on the streets the coldest day of the winter? And I can feel my blood inside of my body the blood in my legs starting to slush up. Like what happened January 1st, 2018, that I almost rolled over and died myself. I almost died on New Year's 2018. The weather was really bad. And those people at the Quickies discount on Loyal, I mean, not Loyal, wait, no, Tulane and Broad in New Orleans. Those Middle Eastern people threatened to call the police on me after I bought something. And I asked, is it okay? It was so cold that I asked, was it okay for me to stand inside the store until the bus come? And they threatened to call the police on me just for asking such question. I had already bought me some items and bought me some stuff from the store. And I had a place to live at that time. But I was just stuck out. I went by drunk lady Yvonne's house, and it was 2018. And I went to visit her. Her and my, I mean, what kind of holiday is that to spend where you go by your aunt and uncle and they all ignore you and treat you like shit, and then you nearly go die in bad weather, and the first thing they'll say is Candy crazy ass shouldn't have been out there. I was just trying to get home, so it's not like I could call my evil cousin whore Rebecca to come pick me up. She wouldn't have done it, so nobody else in the family would care about me to come and pick me up and bring me home. So I had to take the damn bus home. I wasn't wanted over there, so I mean, Yvonne and her now deceased husband Daryl, drunk lady and drunk man. Daryl, that was 3 months before he died. He even treated me like shit that day. And I spent most of the day in the house with him. And I felt like uncomfortable and scared and bored all at the same time. And I just couldn't wait for my Aunt Yvonne to get back. And then she didn't even treat me no better. So that's how it is. Me and Sean basically not wanted, but they basically give more leeway to Sean, though. They give Sean, more of a break because it's less effort for them to get money out of Sean. A person like me will put up a fight or like a resistance. When I say fight, I mean resistance, not physical fight, but I mean resistance. Put up a resistance, with them trying to get money out of me. So that's why they didn't let Sean stay by them. And then after they done taking all the money from Sean, and they used to do the same thing to me too. After they're done taking all the money out of you and you don't have no more money, they pick an argument with you for an excuse to not talk to you and then get mad and throw you out. And then it turns into a crisis where the police got to get involved. And me or Sean, would have like an outburst or whatever and standing up for ourselves when we've been treated with injustice. And here, Ramona's son Raymond's friends is free to stay there for free and not have to pay anything for as long as they want to. Like Raymond would have all these female friends, like Quandra Harvey would go stay over there by Ramona's house, her and her kids, and Ramona wasn't charging them to stay there. But Ramona, all she would do is complain about Quandra to me behind Quandra's back. But if Ramona had a problem with me, I'm straight out the door. You're gonna show me the door. But you're gonna act like you're scared of Quandra because Quandra, a female thug, pretty much. So Ramona couldn't get away with trying to treat Quandra like shit. So that's my doggone family. That strangers are more welcome in the family and outsiders than somebody who's truly related to them. All because we get the so-called, me and Sean get the so-called retarded label. But my twin sister Brandy used to be treated like that too. But it's like they accept her. So they'll defend her before they defend me, or they'll listen to her before they listen to me. And the same thing with Sean. They'll defend or listen to Sean before me. I ain't got no say, so I ain't got nothing. It's like I'm treated like what the hell did I just see? it looked it looked like the employee was just riding on the door of the person who just pulled up. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so thanks for having the patience to listen to me while I'm rambling on and talking. I kind of didn't even intend on this being so long. But, as I said, you don't have the authority to complain about how long my videos are. If you say my videos are too long or that I should stop doing videos, go to another area of the internet if you don't like me. But no, the thing is, you want to try to control, rearrange, and change me. And you're not going to do it. And y'all, the same ones who treat me like shit now, are going to be the number one people who, after I die, so when I say Candy was a damn good person. That's how y'all fake asses do. Candy was a diamond in the rough. Candy will light up a room with a beautiful smile. Yeah, why y'all not giving me my flowers while I'm alive? So basically, so then off and on, I was still on the streets, but then they started to build up that Korean place downtown, that Korean restaurant. So when they built the Korean restaurant was when I went across the street to 532 West Garden Street, and nobody owned any businesses there except maybe 528. They had the businesses over there at 528 West Garden Street. Nobody said anything for a long time. But now all of a sudden, I was sleeping in that spot at 532 West Garden Street for at least 20 months. And the police knew I slept there and nobody bothered me at 532 West Garden Street, but in the alley between those two buildings. The police, nobody said anything. Y'all, that's how the gang stalking operates, that they want to wait 20 months to say something. But I've been standing off and on for 20 months. So, I don't need to fill this one up. I've been standing there off and on for about 20 months. And then y'all wait till August of this year to make up a lie for an excuse. Like that white female, she didn't work at that building, but she was mad at me because I put her on film, in which y'all saw that on my other channel. I put her and her head, like the gang stalkers who have nothing to do with that property will lie and say that they own that property. Because they think they're narcissistic. You know how narcissistic personality people, excuse me, they act like they think they own everything. And they strongly delusionally believe that they do own everything. Especially they think they own everything. They think they own the victim. And they think they own everything that the victim possesses. So, also, all right. So I was on the streets. I mean, between 2019 and 2020, I was trying to find me a place, and it kept being sabotaged by the gang stalkers. And in 2019, I called around and they said there is no affordable housing. And I'm like, but then when I first got to Pensacola, I was treated like as if I was not wanted here. But the rich tourists, they can have, the rich folks can come move here every day. But because I'm poor and black, the reason why I was brand new to Pensacola and straight up treated like I wasn't welcome. I had an abusive, rude, gang stalking bus driver the first transit bus ride. He was rude and didn't want to help me or give me no directions or nothing like that. In Pensacola, when I very first got off the Greyhound bus and then came here, to Pensacola, and and rode that Route 50. I don't remember if it was, I think it was Route 50. And that black male bus driver was rude and didn't want to help me. And I don't even remember where I went or how I got to where. And I ended up some kind of way downtown to the visitor center. They abused me and treated me like shit there. And I called up United Way 211, and he even the guy tried to say basically there's no room for you here in Pensacola. Why did you even come here? And they were pretty rude and nasty about saying, there's no room for you. And say, why did you come here? We don't have room with that. We don't have room for anybody here in Pensacola. So that's bullshit but now I'm hearing there's like a housing crisis in the Pensacola metro area that's supposedly been since, and which I didn't know until after I got here. But it's not like I could have easily gone back home to New Orleans. I basically, when they banned me from UNO's campus, I basically felt kicked out of New Orleans, out of my hometown. That made me feel totally like that was the last straw. Me being just banned from everywhere. Just like me being banned from everywhere on Palafox Street, downtown Pensacola. I basically got banned from everywhere on Canal Street in New Orleans. Palafox is Pensacola's version of New Orleans Canal Street. It's much smaller, just a few little blocks. So, and so then, where Seville Quarter is, that's like a miniature version of Bourbon Street, if you get what I mean. That one little block is like a miniature version of Bourbon Street. So I'm gonna say it again. Seville Quarter, y'all do a fake shitty suck ass job at trying to be like New Orleans. You don't even know how to make New Orleans food properly. You know, like the New Orleans dishes, like the gumbo and those weren't damn beignets. That's not freaking gumbo. But then tourists come to Pensacola thinking that they're getting the real thing. And I had to secretly tell some tourists, this is not the real gumbo. This is not the real beignets. You got to go to New Orleans to get the real thing. But I'm pretty sure they got some other New Orleans-based restaurants that can do the gumbo right, or do the red beans right, or do the beignets right. So, I mean, if I had my own place to live, I'd be creative enough, to be trying to make organic, pumpkin based. I mean, like pumpkin beignets, or if I can open up a shop and have me like some red velvet beignets or something just different and creative like that. And, I mean, the idea of having like some red velvet or some like red velvet flavor beignets with cream cheese in the inside or something like that, or having some red beans, rice, and shrimp, or if I can have me, a different style of gumbo or something. If I would open me a restaurant, which they've been preventing, the gang stalkers make sure I'm not allowed to run a business because they think I don't have the mentality or the sense to, so therefore have no business to run a business. But if my twin sister ran a shop, oh, she would be popular and get all the damn support. She probably can open up a restaurant and be famous worldwide if she wanted to. But me, they want to make sure I'm shut down and suppressed. Don't you dare do that. Y'all see what's going on with my books? I'm not allowed to have my ebooks. I'm not allowed to write ebooks. I'm not allowed to write articles online. I'm not allowed to appear or exist online. They don't want me to exist on YouTube. I was forced against my will to make my Twitter private. They ran me off Instagram and Quora and Facebook. And my own blog that I had, they ran me off. They ran me off my own blog. So they ran me off my own blog. You know, I'm not allowed to have anything. I'm 38 years old. I shouldn't be treated like this. So yeah, they ran me off my own blog. I was forced to shut it down. They bullied me off my own blog. I was not allowed to have a GoFundMe, a Patreon, a Buy Me a Coffee. They're trying to take down my Medium articles, Medium.com articles. So, but I love writing, but I'm not allowed to profit or make money off of it. So therefore, I'm forced to do stuff like working at Gulf Breeze Middle School or Gulf Breeze High School and be workplace mobbed for and get paid a low wage despite having a bachelor's degree. I'm not even allowed to bring up or even talk about my bachelor's degree. And nobody cares and they think I should shut up and they feel like my degree means nothing. Oh, but their narcissistic fake degrees can mean so much. Because you got a degree and being paid to kill people, have people killed, murdered off. And you're proud of that. So I basically was on the streets with the exception of two times, like once in February and once in March. Um, that Catholic Charities helped me just a week in a motel. I mean, at the hotel at Days Inn downtown. But those other days, I was suffering and cold on the streets and had to be walking up and down the streets on West Garden Street and Palafox, up and down the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning because I was so cold. And then dealing with gang stalkers driving by with no headlights, speeding down the street and nearly striking me, trying to hit me with their car, or drive around with their emergency flashers on and trying to hit me with their car. And so then for the month, I think it was that Friday, I think it was April 3rd, that Friday. I think it was a Friday, April 3rd, 2020, was when I stayed by Janet all the way until like May 5th. And then, after we got our stimulus checks and she sent for me to go down to go to Orlando and Miami and Fort Lauderdale, because I kind of felt like at first I felt like I wanted to live in Fort Lauderdale, but I didn't know much anything about Fort Lauderdale. I just wanted to go, somewhere where there's beach. But I like Pensacola. It has the white sand and the pretty clear water like I like, but the Pensacola people suck, especially at the restaurants. And they're a different kind of fake, but they make me feel like the fake LA people. And there's a lot of covert racism here. And they don't like us black people here. And there's a lot of rich folks here that like New Orleans, stingy and selfish and don't do shit for the poor and the homeless and struggling. But Greenville, South Carolina, they got a lot of racism, but they got the rich folks in Greenville, South Carolina, they're generous and they help the poor. But they have zero tolerance. The police in Greenville, South Carolina, they have zero tolerance for the homeless. They want the homeless to be out of sight. They criminalize homelessness. And they criminalize anybody trying to help the homeless. Basically, they make it like it's a crime to give money to a homeless panhandler. And then I heard that charities and organizations that try to feed the homeless, the police will do stuff like bully and harass people, and some people end up becoming targeted individuals for trying to help the homeless. And so then, like, Food Not Bombs, I heard they're like targeted individuals. And so they get harassed and bullied by the police, and the police doesn't want citizens of society to feed the homeless. And then I heard that there was somebody who got jailed over 100 times trying to feed the homeless. Can't you believe that? And then the police do stuff like pour bleach on the food in the dumpsters so that the homeless person can't go in the garbage in the dumpsters and eat the food out. The police, they deliberately throw bleach on the food. That's the homeless version of dumpster diving, to go inside the dumpsters. And I'm not talking about grocery dumpsters. They could go on like a place of business could have a garbage can on the side of the sidewalk or something, and a homeless person, even in a residential area, go where they can find some food and go and dig in the garbage can and eat the food, whatever food that could be in there. So it's really terrible. But they want to talk about rescuing animals. They got the protection and rescue for the animals, but when it comes to a homeless human being, oh, you want to criminalize and have them killed off. But then if you're a compliant gang stalker and you're homeless, then you get rewarded with what? Gift cards, money, drugs, and this and that, whatever. But I heard it be like a nicer bit of money. It ain't like no $5 or $10 on $10, $15 on a gift card. But I don't know how much they get. But it's like, well, why are you still on the streets homeless, but you're gang stalking me? Why? So I heard it's to feed their drug habit. I heard that they get supplied with all the drugs in the world. That's why, like, when I hear the Hollywood entertainment industry, that if a man sell his soul to the devil, he can get all the money, pussy, weed, whatever he wants. I hate that word pussy and dick. I hate those two words. But, y'all get all the card, whatever they want, as long as they compliant with and doing the rituals, the satanic rituals, And so I watched a video of a YouTube channel called Be Amazed, and they were talking about the how different people across the world get treated on death row and their last meal before execution when they're on death row. And I said, how come gang stalkers or some of these criminal elite politicians, how come they don't have to get on death row? They don't have to worry about death row or, being held. Like, if you sell your soul to the devil and then you commit a crime, you don't have to be held responsible for it on this earth, but you will, burn in hell when you die. So they think they're getting away with their evil crimes on this earth. But when it's time to go to hell, ain't no escape. They think they can escape on this earth, but you ain't going to be able to escape hell. So, and some people, prisoners, sell their soul to the devil in order to get a life sentence. To get a lighter, they sell their soul to the devil to get a lighter prison sentence. And then as long as they participate in those gory rituals, then, yeah, they can walk around free. And you think they're a God-fearing, a humble, mature, God-fearing, and God-loving man. If you get what I'm saying, But behind closed doors, they're that biggest Satanist. So, but anyway, after I stayed by Janet up until May 5th, and then up until maybe that Friday or Saturday, or maybe Thursday, Friday, or Saturday after the last week of May 2020, I guess I stayed 4 weeks, and I used, and so I stayed at that hospitality inn, and then I was back on the streets, and then for a couple of weeks, then Alex ran me out of Pensacola, and basically after Alex ran me out of Pensacola in June 2020, and I came back like the beginning of July, I think when I got my Social Security check, it's like I had to beg for money every night for like $100 for a hotel or a motel room, because in downtown Mobile, Alabama, I didn't know until after I got there that they I didn't know that they had zero tolerance for homeless and you were not allowed to be seen downtown. But hey, this is all supposed to be the Bible Belt, right? So so I was not allowed to be on the streets. So I had to, and it was a struggle and scary at times to have to beg for help. And when I first got to Mobile, Alabama, I applied for and looked for some regular jobs and some temp service jobs. I tried a couple of shelters. They didn't work out. One shelter I lasted about only an hour and they bullied me. Oh no, I lasted about a few hours and they bullied me out of the homeless shelter in Mobile, Alabama. I don't remember the name of the shelter, but they bullied me out of the shelter that first day, and I was forced to be back on the streets. And they had the residents trying to act like they're narcissistic enough to act like they think they're staff. And so the staff and residents, they bullied me out of there within 4 hours. And the homeless men who supposed to be Christian, they treat you like shit, and they don't care how they disrespect and talk to a woman or talk to anybody. I mean, at the waterfront mission, and they got a waterfront mission in Mobile, Alabama, also. And again, it's just for men only. Why not? Why not for women? There's nothing out here really for single women. So I got harassed by 20-year-old police officers with pimple face and braces and glasses. You know, I get harassed by these young ass police officers and threatened with jail just about every night when I slept on the streets and downtown Mobile. And they had their own little area that looked kind of like the bay or whatever. I don't know. I don't think that was a bay. It probably was the river. You know, some body of water downtown Mobile, Alabama. And at their park, the police would run me off, and then they would make up excuses. It's like the gang stalking was worse and heavier in Mobile, Alabama than it was here in Pensacola. And then when I was gang stalked in my Tallahassee, Florida, dealing with Janet, Tallahassee, not so much Orlando, but in Tallahassee and the Waffle House in Tallahassee, Florida, and also a lot of different places in Miami, I was gang stalked super heavy. Like, and even in my hometown, New Orleans, it seems like everything is worse. The gang stalking is worse everywhere than Pensacola. So then, I mean, I get more funny headlights coming at me. And it's like all these other black people gang stalking me in Mobile, Alabama. And then move. And they used the mask thing to justify gang stalking and harassing me too when they didn't need to. And then they used the mask thing to justify, for excuses to justify having me banned from certain places of business. And then so I was back to sleeping on the streets at that spot. And at by 5:30, between 528 and 532 West Garden Street. You know, and all that time the police didn't tell me nothing. Nobody told me nothing. And then I had to deal with gang stalkers wanting to watch me. They would cause me forced urination or forced diarrhea, and they want to watch me pee when I try to go hide behind that abandoned church to do my business. Because I had no place else to go because I would get get gang stalked at the Circle K down the street. And so even I would be a paid customer and they would make up lies for an excuse to not let me use the bathroom. And then another person, a perp before me, would stop up the toilet and then they blame me for it. And it's like, how could I stop up the toilet if I just peed? So the perp before me or would dirty up the toilet. And so they treated me so bad and tried to ban me from the downtown Circle K. And it's by my own black people. But y'all the first one to be talking about Black Lives Matter. But black Americans don't value their own kind. But I'm the first y'all call a sellout. Y'all try to project y'all selling out onto me. And y'all think I'm a sellout just because I sound so-called articulate or proper. Y'all think that automatically makes me a sellout. Move, Nat. I'm sorry, y'all. But then, so I guess from July and August 2020, I couldn't find a job really anywhere. And from ever since after Alex ran me out of Pensacola, and remember, like in September and October, they had all these bad hurricanes back to back. We went through Hurricane Sally, and they had all these hurricanes. And it wasn't, and it's like out of desperate, I said I was not going to get back on any social media. But out of desperateness, I even got back on Facebook. And I joined Instagram for the first time. I said I would never join Instagram. But I got on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and put up another GoFundMe. And it started from Twitter that Olga Limpkin's friend, what's her name? Her last name is Gonzalez. I cannot think of her name at the moment. But now Yurdas Gonzalez, fake T.I. perp. I think she was the one who started the false rumor that I'm a scammer. And you're supposed to be targeted like me. Damn. And so she was another rude, abusive, narcissistic, control freak, fake T.I. perp. And so it started from Twitter. And that everybody falsely accused me of being a scammer because I was, using social media to panhandle and beg, trying to survive and stay out of jail. After Alex ran me, he created that scenario for an excuse to run me out. He thought he had the authority and the power. Wow, how did my bed get like this? He ran me out of Pensacola. So, Alex Dupree, he ran me out of Pensacola. And then he gang stalked. I have footage of that too. He gang stalked me to the Greyhound station and on the Greyhound bus. And so basically, 2020, I didn't have a job. And I was even looking for something online. Couldn't find anything online. And I had to deal with I had to deal with you know, being falsely accused of being a scammer. And then my own twin sister in October 2020, she helped everything go along by trying to lie on me and saying that I was using her name for clout. Wow, move. Turned all my supporters and subscribers against me, you know. And basically, they all turned to her because they figure she's more entertaining. But as I said, if you're supposed to be Christian, you shouldn't even be listening to my twin sister. She's not even a Christian. But y'all say y'all Christian, but go with the false narrative that I'm crazy. Um, that I'm crazy and mentally unhinged. And I can't, like, you really think that somebody who's considered mentally unhinged, you think they have the cleverness to be a scammer and get over on people? It was an actual perp, that Steven Adams guy. I'm sorry, Stephon Adams, the perp. He's not a fake TI perp or a target, but he's a whole perp who has a website to discredit TIs, mainly Brian too, and Kevin Christian. And so he has a channel dedicated. He has multiple social media websites dedicated to trying to discredit Brian too. But I feel conflicted because I also feel like Brian too is one of the popular fake TI perps, you know. So I don't know. It's weird that some fake TI perps get harassed by regular perps too, and yet they turn around and perp and harass you too. So I heard there's a such thing as some people being both targeted and a perp, playing both sides, and that makes things, because they want to have agent provocateurs to make this gang stalking conspiracy to be less credible. And the whole while they want to try to get us real targets to compromise and flip and become a perp. And they say once you become a perp, there's no turning back. Once you sell your soul to the devil, there's no turning back, from what they say, you know. So so I've been struggling, you know. I mean, let's see. I stayed at Hospitality Inn from October 2020 all the way through, I think it was January or February 2021. I think it was up till the end of February 2021. I think, I could be wrong. I don't remember if it was January or February. No, I think it was the end of February. And I was back to sleeping at 532 West Garden Street. I got me a job interview at an Italian restaurant, and they acted like they were so gonna hire me. And it was on North 9th Avenue, like across from Subway, where the old Family Dollar used to be. They were gonna hire me. I think it was $10 an hour. And so they had a gang stalker, I think, in a red car, and I filmed that red car, and they delayed my phone until after they drove far down the street. But I still got a little footage of that gang stalker was gang stalking and monitoring and surveilling and watching me as I was talking to the man who interviewed me. And it seemed like they were eager to want to hire me. But then I didn't hear nothing back from them. And then I got the job at Sky Zone. They hired me right on the spot. And then y'all know what happened at Sky Zone. And then the Sky Zone, I wouldn't have been making it, because you think that idiot Brian there, he thinks that $9 an hour is a lot of money and good money. Motherfucker, why don't you work for that much? But you're the damn manager getting paid who knows what of a salary, living all the way in Milton, Florida, to come here to Pensacola and you make the false bad decision to have me banned for life, that I can never go to Sky Zone at least that location for the rest of my life, you know, because of, I mean, an online gang stalker broke the law by freaking, calling up and telling him about my videos and me being vocal about, I had just got there and they were already perping me with the hand signs and doing the workplace mobbing and everything. And then the first day I worked the real job after the training, that first actual day, I got fired that same day and banned and escorted by police. And then another police, the good cop, was telling me you done nothing wrong. And I don't even know if it's too late to do something. I mean, I don't know how to go about getting a lawyer. I don't have the money for a lawyer to sue Sky Zone. But then everybody wanted to come outside. Everybody, I mean, I think I would have been treated if I would have put the cops on film, you know, on the spot. If I would have put them on film on the spot, then I think they probably would have physically abused me, or probably would have murdered me if I would have put the camera in their face on the spot. But one police officer was telling me, "You done nothing wrong," and another police officer was bullying, harassing, and threatening me, and then the third cop was being completely silent. And so, they were slick and sly with doing this, And then I tried to get that room for rent. It was bed bug infested, like Janet's place. That lady was perping with the red and gang stalking me, and she lied and said she was a Christian. And then I ended up back on the streets again. And Alex Dupree left me alone all this time until May 24th. He went back to harassing me. And that was the day, coincidentally, that I found out I was able to go back to the YMCA. Then he started to gang stalk me at the YMCA and doing strange stuff like bring his book bag into the steam room and just go into the steam room and gang stalk me and trying to bump into me on purpose. I feel a certain amount of coldness, hardness, and darkness when Alex would have tried to come near me. And he wanted to be fake nice online, but in person, trying to offer me deals to sell my soul and sell out, but in person he would be abusive and mean as fuck, and I could tell he's just putting on an act, and then so then some of y'all know what happened. I was supposed to start working at the YMCA, but then I ended up working at Seville Quarter, and the same guy who suggested that job at Seville Quarter, Corey, the maintenance director at the YMCA, I ended up having to quit my job behind the same guy who got me the job. And then I was gang stalked and workplace mobbed at Seville Quarter. So then, I didn't ask for any money until that time my stuff got stolen. And then that was the only time I was still living on the streets, but I was able to get a shower every day. But I was still living on the streets. And then I had a couple of little hotel or motel stays when they had like a hurricane threat. And then I would stay on the streets until August, when they bullied me, when they bullied me away from 532 West Garden Street, and that whole gang stalking set up, and they lied on me. It's like they've been trying to get me away since April. They used another homeless man to try to get me away, but it didn't work. And so they've been harassing me. And then so then September 23rd, I was on the streets but a couple of little hotel stays here and there, you know. But I was on the streets until September 23rd. I got the job, but still on the streets. Couldn't take a bath for a week, and then I came here and been staying at this motel ever since. You know, been staying at this motel ever since, and so you know, I'm hoping that there's a way that I can get like I wish I could get something I want, but nah, I have to only get what's offered to me or what job. I heard that the gang stalkers pick you basically blacklisted, but the narcissistic gang stalkers, they want to pick for you what they want you to have. Just like when I go to the restaurants, I pay my doggone work money, and the narcissistic gang stalkers, they want to serve me what they want me to have or the amount they want me to have. I've had people who do stuff like if I say like no tomato, no pickle, no onion on my burger, and they just put what they want. They put what they want on my burger. Or they will just give me a plain burger with burger and maybe some cheese with nothing on it. And I'm not allowed to have a say so or have any rights. You know, so thanks for listening to me for all this long. I don't know yet what I'm gonna eat for dinner, but I didn't even eat breakfast. But for lunch, I just had the leftover. I had the leftover burger and fries and a couple of cookies. Because you know, feeling stressed and about my situation, high anxiety. I was supposed to have done laundry today. I was supposed to have done laundry today, but you know, it's not a dire urgency for me to do laundry today, but I need to do I need to get laundry done, but it's not a dire urgency. But I gotta pee now, so it's not a dire urgency for me to get laundry done today. But if I would have had to move out tomorrow, then definitely would be a dire urgency. But I have a couple of little days worth more of clothes that I could wear, including this black dress I could wear, so I can stretch a few little more days. Come on, man. You know, so I'm just trying to doggone survive and get by, and hoping and praying as soon as possible for a permanent place to live. So please keep me in your prayers, and I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.